Welcome back to the Ambition Over Fear platform. Every day, it's like another chance to find out how we can move beyond our limitations so we can experience more happiness. And happiness really is a subjective thing because we move through life and we think we know what happiness is based on how the people around us frame that word and how society constructs, pathways to achieve that level of bliss. But how I define it is tapping into your power long enough for you to be able to use it in your own life. Moving beyond this limited idea of victimhood, of this person did this to me, or this is how I grew up, and really taking a chance to step into your soul. And we say these words a lot, a spiritual awakening, a spiritual ascension, and oftentimes the objective behind these things are to escape pain and to move into happiness. But what if I were to tell you that happiness is in the pain, that pain can be a portal, that if you stay in that resonance of what makes you uncomfortable long enough to see what it is here to teach you, then you truly become a master of your own destiny. And that is why we're here, is quantum jumping. Quantum jumping as an empath. And you being an empath, you actually have so much advantage when it comes down to doing this. And it's a beautiful thing because one of the reasons why I'm here is to really liberate empaths from their own limiting energy field. And it's not that way because anybody is to blame. It's when you are an empath, you consistently have your nature being used against you in the world by other people, by yourself. Your sensitivity of emotions, your ability to feel energy that is not yours, your feeling of what someone else is going through. And instead of observing that, you take it on. So being an empath, what leads us into this realization a lot of the times are the disempowering traits that being an empath comes with. And ironically, it's good that these things happen because a lot of times in life we move so quickly, we're so stuck in our ways. Our identity of how we view ourselves or the world is really collected in this jail. And in order for us to escape it, a lot of times there has to be something that shifts us, something that makes us feel pain, so we can ask ourselves, how do I not feel pain? And that's when the searching for information and wisdom come into play. And that is when you're able to find out, oh, I'm an empath because I take on people's energy and I'm a hypersensitive, so that's why I feel things more intensely. So you being an empath is a gift, and I'm going to show you with these YouTube videos, my books, my courses, my Facebook group, how you can truly realize that power and how you can minimize the pain and save time so you can really get to where you're going quicker. That's the most important thing, is just moving away from restriction and moving into self-empowerment and self-love. So step one of how to quantum jump as an empath is first understanding quantum jumping. Now, quantum jumping is really coming into the realization that all those movies and all those interesting talks that you may have had with friends on what if there is a alternate reality where I have this life, or what if there's a version of me that made this decision or stayed with this person or took this job. The reason why we have thoughts is because our consciousness can pull in that information from the universal galactic field. And whenever we pull in information, it's because it is real on some level. There's no right or wrong, it just depends on how you see things in its raw form, without allowing your ego or your old jaded perspective to take that truth and twist it for your advantage. Besides that, most things we talk about and think about are true somewhere. So there are parallel realities. There is alternate universes, or an alternate version of your life where you did have that job, or you did stay with this person, or move to that country. The reason you're thinking about it is because you're tapping into that parallel reality. But unfortunately, in society, we're not taught how to remove our own limited mental constructs long enough for us to bring in new information. We're really closed in on, this is reality, this is what my religion teaches me, this is what my family told me. And a lot of times we don't move beyond that idea of what we're told by somebody else's perception, because we don't want to upset people. We don't want to be disloyal to the way we were raised. But it comes time to where we move beyond satisfying other people. And what do you have to do to satisfy your own life? So when you're learning about law of attraction, you come into a realization that with your thoughts and emotions, you can create experiences in your world, because your mind is connected to your imagination, and in your imagination you can think beyond what your five senses are picking up on. And whenever you can go beyond that mind, you're tapping into your free-flowing consciousness. And so your consciousness, whether it's free-flowing or it's stuck in its old ways, is a quantum field. It's a field of energy that multiplies in on itself. Sorry, one second, guys. There's disruptive things happening around me. So your mind is a quantum field, and the universe is another quantum field. And when you're basically allowing yourself to realize that your thoughts have an electrical pulse, whenever you have a thought, it connects to the quantum field of the universe, finds that same energy and brings it into your field. And then you manifest it in your physical field, right? So you have your consciousness, which is a field of energy. And a field is just a way to describe a structure that can hold and organize energy, right? It's like a template. So your mind and your consciousness have a field of energy, okay? And then when you start thinking, you're going into the quantum field of the entire universe. And because thoughts are energetic pulses, they go into the quantum field, they find, your thought sends out a signal into the ocean of the universe, and that signal says, hey universe, hey particles, I want to find what is similar to me. So the minute you think of, I can't do this job, or I'm not able to do this, and you feel this sense of lack, that electrical impulse sends out a signal to the universe, and truly that impulse pulls back information to your field, which then manifests. But as we move forward, we start to realize that the universe and our consciousness are not separate, right? So you're the entire universe, right? There is nothing outside of you that is giving you power. There is no creator outside of you. You are the creator in yourself, and you have that entire power. So if you can think of yourself that your soul is the entire universe, and your human body, your mind, has an energy field, then whenever your mind has a thought, that energy field sends information to your soul, and then your soul goes, okay, you're sending an order out for this particular energy. Just like, when you're ordering something online, and then your soul gives you what you requested just by thinking of it. So law of attraction is the idea that you can manifest something. Now, quantum jumping is the idea that instead of you manifesting one experience at a time, you move into the parallel reality where every experience and desire you would like to have is already a reality. Okay? So, when we start to understand consciousness, we really get into a place where we have to be calculated on understanding the different dimensions at which the universe exists. Now, for this video, we're going to focus on a couple. So there are 13 dimensions, vertical dimensions, and my metaphor that I always use is you have an apartment building with 13 floors. The major battery and source of energy that provides electricity to all of the wires and plugs in the apartment floors below exists on the 13th dimension. Okay? And then the 13th dimension gives power to the 12th. Then the 12th gives power to the 11th. And the 11th gives power to the 10th. It's a funnel of energy. And one dimension creates another dimension. So something to understand is, if you would like to change something in the 3rd dimension, then you go to the 5th dimension, which is your soul. It's the idea that you are, as a soul, are an intergalactic being that truly is just an encapsulation of the entire universe as a whole. So it's a realization that not only are you a soul, but your soul is just what you're choosing to identify with in the universe. But when you go past the identity at which your soul is holding, which is the different reincarnations you've had, you become the entire ocean of consciousness. So you go in the ocean of consciousness, you decide what you want, and you have an idea that every dimension is just energy manifested. So if you can get behind the energy, then you can change the manifestation. If you can tap into the 5th dimension, which is free-flowing thought, where there are no reincarnations and you are just the entire universe, you can bring that energy from the 5th dimension into the 3rd dimension by bringing that from your soul and your imagination into your body and your cells. So, and obviously right now, the fact that I have planes going by every 5-10 minutes is me learning how to understand that this video doesn't have to be perfect. That I don't need to have a perfectionist view on how I teach people, because my patience is being tested right now and I keep thinking, should I restart the video? But no, I'm learning while you're learning, okay? So that's quantum jumping. It's the idea that there is a parallel reality of every possible thought and emotion you have had. And what's interesting is when you have energy from the 5th dimension, which is free-flowing consciousness, come into your body, that information is stored in your subatomic particles and your DNA. And like a program, you are now deciding what is a pattern of emotions and thoughts that you're going to embody. So when you have a thought or emotion that is completely different from the trajectory of life that you have been on, if it's a small change, you can bring that energy into your body and alter the old information with new information. But if you're embodying so much change at once, then your soul says, all right, well, we're going to clone and duplicate your body into a parallel reality, an alternate universe, where this new emotion, this new thought, this new action, this new identity that you're having about yourself in the world is the pattern and program of energy that's going to be in your cells. So it's almost like that. It's almost as if, you know, you have a bowl, right? A bowl of snacks, and you want to add a couple snacks in there, then you just add them into it. But if you want to add and say that I'm going to change the snacks that I'm going to be serving the people at my get-together, and you want to change the snacks completely, you have to get a new bowl and pour in that new snack. So that's quantum jumping. It's the idea that a large change puts you in an alternate reality where that change can fill your body, your subatomic particles, your DNA. And the reason why that new change may not be able to just come into your old body or your old timeline, the reason why sometimes when you have a large change, the reason your soul splits you off into a parallel reality is it's more efficient to just work with a clean slate than to try to remove 70-60% of the information in your body. Sometimes your soul is so smart that it just does the efficient thing. Not sure if you guys can hear that, but sorry about that. So step 2, right? Step 2 on, you know, understanding, okay, now that you are realizing what quantum jumping is, how do you do it as an empath? Well, first I want to tell you that as an empath, you have a highly flexible electromagnetic field around you. It's almost as if you imagine a net, you know, in between you and other people and, you know, other energy. Most people, the net, the holes are moderately small. An empath, their net, their field of electromagnetic energy has larger holes, so more can come through, more can go out, which means as an empath, you are a shapeshifter, because you are your energy field. So if you can change your energy field quickly, then you can change your form very quickly. And that is an important part to remember. It's that realization can allow you to understand why when somebody is venting to you, do you become their emotions. That explains why when you go into a store or a public place, you're feeling everybody else's emotions. And not only are you feeling it and you're aware of it, but you're bringing it into your own body and you're feeling their emotion as if it was yours, because you did shapeshift into their emotion. That's the interesting part. So the idea of understanding this is understand as an empath what energy you would like to shapeshift into. The reason we may not be tapping into our full potential as an empath is because we are a victim of what energy is around us or around the media we're consuming. So decide what energy you want to shapeshift into. Energy that aligns with where you're going in life. Energy that aligns with what you would like to manifest, and the parallel reality, which is just a version of you that holds a particular set of characteristics and holds a particular reality. What parallel reality do you want to jump into? Be around those people. Think those thoughts. Do things that get you in the emotional frequency where you're able to actually be calm and relaxed while you're creating a business, and not in desperation and franticness. How to, if somebody comes into your field and, you're trying to choose the best you can to be around the right energy, realize that the reason this energy might be coming into your field is to teach you something. A lot of times when situations or people come into our experience, it is because the internal world, which is what is inside of us, projects out to the external world. So the internal world and the external world are the same thing. What you're feeling and thinking is the same as what your five senses are picking up on. So people might be a reflection of you, a situation might be a reflection of you, and instead of hating that situation or being mad at it, figure out what does that person or situation have that is in common with the part of you that is preventing you from getting to where you want to go in life. Right? Now, sometimes that is not the case, and there are times where people can come into your life, or situations can come into your life, and they're disruptive, and a lot of people can take advantage of your empathic sensitivity. Now, when you're in this position, what you realize is this person may not be embodying a reflection of you, but they may be here to teach you through a really negative, disempowering way, something that you would not have learned unless you had to learn it. In life, a lot of times we learn things in the absence of it. We learn peace when we're in chaos. We learn self-love when we feel like we're failures. We learn success when we are tired of being in a place where we don't enjoy our life. So sometimes when people treat you badly, it's because you need to show yourself more self-love, have boundaries, and now you're realizing another energy that you do not want to align with. Decide in that moment and tell your field, tell your soul, tell the universe, which is you realizing you are everything, you are every planet, you are every galaxy, you're pure consciousness. When you go all the way up the ladder of dimensions at which you exist, you are pure energy. We're all one, right? So, as an empath, you can shape-shift easier. And what this also means is the reason because of that is your hypersensitivity allows you to feel thoughts with more emotion. Emotion is what charges the thought to make it manifest in a particular way. I always say the emotion and energy you associate with an area of life is what experiences will continue to manifest in that area of life with that same emotion and energy. So as an empath, because we can embody the frequency of emotion more, emotion becomes this huge tool for us. It can feel like a weapon against self sometimes, but I'm going to show you how to use it as a tool. So step 3 of how to quantum jump as an empath is first you have to get to a place where you forgive yourself for all the things you have done in life to yourself or other people, not because they're bad, because everything is neutral at a higher dimension. Your soul signed up for all these experiences, and a good or bad thing is just a different type of experience with a different type of frequency when you observe it from a place of philosophical curiosity. Forgive yourself so you can allow yourself to think, what would my future be like if anything was possible? What do you want? It does not matter what society wants you to do, what your spiritual community wants you to do, what your friends, religion, or what the old you thought. In your heart, pick 3 things you care about. 3 areas of life, right? And in each area of life, while telling yourself that you are not a bad person for experiencing mental health in your life, or for letting yourself down, or for letting somebody else down. You are not a bad person for these things. You are learning. The reason you have to tell yourself that is because when you're deciding that you care about 3 areas of life and you would like those areas of life to look like this with no limitation, your subconscious mind will tap in and go, well, you don't deserve these things. Your subconscious mind will repeat what the past has done. So if you tried in this area of life to succeed at one point, you may have not is not a word. You may have not done that. And because you may have not succeeded in that area of life, your mind, which is trained to be run off of the stimuli of experiences in the past, is going to try to tap in and replay what has already happened, because that's all it knows. So you have to instantly, when you're going to say you want something in life, and you're saying you want to move into a parallel reality where these 3 areas of life exist in this divine form with no limitations whatsoever, you have to, in that same sentence, before your subconscious mind can come in and place its old energetic imprint on what you're trying to create in the future, you have to give yourself a chance, a moment to be free of that. Okay? So decide what parallel reality you want to move into. Now realize, when you're manifesting, you are not creating anything. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. That's a fact from quantum physics and different scientists. Now, energy can morph. You can have one energy and another energy come together to make something else, but that is just alchemy. But the energetic materials already exist in the universe. They just reorganize the relationship. And that is, the quantum entanglement of things, is how the universe, how everything in the universe is connected in some way. Okay, so decide that. Now I'll give you an example of me. For me in my life, I care about the areas of life are, wealth and business is one area. 2, coming into my power as a teacher and a healer. Okay, and 3, I would say is being more patient in my life, being able to live in the moment, being able to see the joy and power in every experience, being able to enjoy what my 5 senses are picking up on in any experience. The pattern on the wall, the pattern on my skin, seeing the divine nature in everything on earth, even the bad things. Now I have more things that I care about, but those are part of the details of the quantum jump I'm doing. They're part of the life that I'm painting out, that I'm moving into, and I keep reminding myself that I'm already in, because you have to embody that completely. Now, step 3 is, as an empath, you can shapeshift into any energy that comes your way. But now I'm going to show you how to purposefully shapeshift into something. Purposefully embody the energy of the parallel reality that you would like to jump into, of the version of you that is existing in an alternate reality that is already happening. And the reason why is because when you go above the 3rd dimension, the 4th dimension is space and time. The 5th dimension is, getting into the intro of truly your soul's vibrational resonance. It's understanding at a core level what your soul is, and how it's not your body or who you are, but your soul is projecting its electricity and identity into your body. But energy from the 5th dimension goes into and manifests into the 3rd dimension from the 4th dimension, which is space and time. Now, how I feel it is, and how I've tapped into this when I'm in the Akashic records, is there are certain dimensions that are here to be a bridge between other dimensions. there are certain dimensions that are the transcribers and translators of energy from one place into another. So 3 is this physical realm, 5 is your soul's resonance, 4 is time and space. It takes time for your thoughts to manifest. Okay, it takes time. So realizing that is understanding that on a higher dimension, after the 4th dimension, linear time does not exist. So yes, you could be tapping into a different version of yourself that is 35, where all these experiences and dreams and goals have already happened. That is why people are able to be psychic, is because they're tapping into the quantum fields. The quantum fields is not created through the structure of past, present, future. It is a field. Now, different locations on the quantum field could represent different times, but you can travel to different points with your consciousness once you let go of the idea that you're just a human. And a lot of people go into these places initially in meditative states, and then later you can learn how to do it when you're not in those states. So embody that parallel reality. Imagine going into a room that looks like the galaxy, and you're seeing 15, 20 U's, 100 U's. And I want you to identify the different people that you've become in your life. Just by floating around, just go, oh, that was a version of me in high school. That was a version of me in college. That was a version of me when I had this job. That was a version of me when I was in this country. And start to realize how there's different templates of energy based on the choices you've made in your life. And then go to the version of you, thinking as you're in that space and you're seeing 100 U's, when you think, you're commanding your consciousness to search the quantum field in reflection to what you're thinking. So then you go, where is a version of me that is living this parallel reality? Think to yourself, where is a version of me? And start listing off the things that exist in your parallel reality. The life you want to manifest, the areas of life and exactly how you want them to be. See this version of you as you find that version, living all the experiences as if you're watching yourself from outside your body. See you talking to that new business partner. See you in great health and happy. See you joyous. Observe like you're watching a movie of another version of you having all these experiences in all the areas of life that you want to achieve and you want to move into. So that parallel reality is like a template of how does life look? What areas of life do you care about? Now, imagine a parallel reality where you, or a version of you that you're going to become, is truly living out all of the desired results that you would like to have in each area of life. Then, when you're in that room and you're seeing 100 U's, still focus in on that version of you and ask yourself, who would I have to be at a personality level, at an ego level? An ego is simply a collection of thoughts and ideas that make up your identity and how you view yourself in the world. It is a program of how your mind runs that tells you who you are. After, when you go into a spiritual awakening, the idea is to leave your ego so you can become your soul. Then you have to choose what ego you want to have when you come back in the matrix to truly be effective. Ask yourself, who would you have to be to live out this parallel reality, this version of you where all of your dreams are happening? And then feel that into your body. Use your sensitivity to tap into that feeling. As you're observing the version of you in a parallel reality, and all the experiences that you care about in your heart, and all the experiences that are happening in that area of life. And the area of life could be relationships, finances, traveling, hobbies, art, whatever you care about. See that version of you doing things in areas of life that you would like to manifest your dreams in, or what your dreams are made of. Because usually dreams are made of having different areas of life look a certain way. So feel into that and bring it into your cells. And this time, instead of blocking out the energy, bring all the energy in. Feel it, embody it, shape-shift into it, and just remember the time when you were around somebody and they had a disempowering emotion, or they were trying to drag you down, or they were pulling energy from you, and remember how quickly you move from one state into another. Now I want you to take that understanding of how quickly you can change and shift and shape-shift, and now apply it to you instantly becoming that version of who you are. Okay?